I hired LaJamian about a month ago. I own a masonry business. He's one of our laborers.
He's a great worker. He come to work every day. He got a good work ethic.
I've gotten to know LaJamian, and he's like the hardest worker out there. He has a lot of potential. When we hired him, you know, he did tell me that he just got out of prison and that he had a charge, but he didn't say what charge. About 2 weeks ago, I just asked him. I was like, man, what was you in prison for? He came out to me and he said, rape.
Me and my wife heard about it. We couldn't believe it.
He was accused of rape of one of his friend's teenage daughters, and I was like, well, did you do it? And he was like, well, no, I ain't do it.
So we want to know the truth. We want to know exactly what type of person we hired. We want to know if we hired a rapist.
If he fails this lie detector test, man, I really want to know what to think, because like I really feel like he's a genuine guy, and I'm gonna look at him totally different.
LaJamian, those are your bosses on the tape. Why did you wait until 2 weeks ago to tell them that you were a registered sex offender?
Because I didn't want no one to discriminate against me, and I really needed a job at the time. I'm trying to take care of the things I need to do to get myself back together.
You tell me what happened.
Okay, that morning when I woke up, she was sitting in the recliner. She was watching a movie on her phone, and her baby began to move in her stomach. She was 9 months pregnant. And when her baby started moving, we just watched the baby move around and waited till it stopped. So just out of the blue, she just came up with the question saying the baby head is down there in a particular area and that I could touch it. So I placed my hand on her stomach and I started rubbing on her belly, and she get the acting seductive, seductive, or whatever you want to call it.
She acted like she was getting turned on.
Yes. So boom, one thing led to another, you know what I'm saying, and things happened.
Did you have sex with her?
I didn't have sex with her. I only like touched her with my Right. She never resisted. She never said no. She never said stop. She led me on and made me think that's what she was wanting. And within that moment, like, she turned back over and said, dude, you tried to rape me.
Did the police come right away, or?
Yeah, the police came that day. Okay, at this time, I had just got out of jail and I was hurting for money, so I couldn't afford an attorney. So I kind of knew how it was gonna play out far as me being innocent or whatever, but the court system didn't want to hear my side of the story, period. If I'd have went to trial and lost, they'd have gave me 30 years. But they said I can take this Class E felony, which was 2 years, which I got a past history, so they enhanced it and made it 4 years and sent me to prison.
How was that like?
It's terrible. You know, it's like you never know what could happen or how somebody feels about the nature of the crime. So, you know, you at a constant, I want to protect myself, or because I didn't check in, you know what I'm saying? I stayed on the compound and did my time. I didn't talk much to people, but, you know, like
But you got to be in there for 4 years thinking, damn, I didn't do anything.
Right.
That's got to be pretty hard, right?
Man, it's terrifying.
Jamie?
What's going on?
Man, I pray to God that you pass this test, dude.
Right.
You got a lot on the line.
Right, that's right.
I'm a mama myself, Jamie. You understand? I bring my kids to the workplace. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
He's been working for you. You say he's a good worker, smart guy. Do you think that he's telling the truth?
At first I did, but now I'm skeptical.
You're skeptical now?
Yes.
What if he fails? You gonna fire him?
Straight up.
Straight up. LaJamie came here, took a lie detector test, and we asked him, on that day, did you inappropriately sexually touch your friend's teenage daughter while she was sleeping? He answered no. That day, did your friend's teenage daughter verbally or physically resist your sexual contact? He answered no. The results came back the same to each question, and it came back that LaJamian told the truth.
Hey! Man, oh my God!
I called the show because I've been accused of murdering my wife. 3 years ago, she committed suicide, and her family has accused me ever since then, which has totally destroyed my family and my life. When Kyra passed away, it was the most devastating moment of my life. I immediately lost everything. It was like a wave of pain, and there was no coming back. We've loved each other longer than I can even remember. She was my high school sweetheart. The last time I saw my wife, we had an argument, and she walked out, and I started making phone calls, trying to figure out what was going on. And it wasn't until the next morning that I found out that the police had found her. The coroner had said that she had killed herself, and I'd known that since she was 16, she'd been suicidal, and we've been combating those issues for more years than I can count. My wife's sisters and her mother, Melinda, they're accusing me of killing my wife, that I murdered her, that I beat her, that I was a savage person, that I was everything that we weren't, that our marriage was everything we weren't. They took who she was and made her a meek mouse when she was the strongest woman. She was the strongest woman I ever met. They took everything that I was, that we were, and changed it into something that it never was.
Christopher's a narcissist, in my opinion, obviously. And I think that he killed my daughter because of the way that he was acting that night. The things that he was posting on social media and calling her names and saying horrible things about her. And we're like, Christopher, what happened? Where is she? And then he started calling us names, and we tried to get him to tell us what was going on, and he wouldn't. He was just being rude. And then he calls me from the instant messenger, and he is crying like that and saying, I just realized my gun is gone. I'm like, what? Kyra wouldn't take your gun. You know she wouldn't even touch your gun. My daughter, vegan, vegetarian, animal right. She never would have taken a gun and put it in her mouth.
These are journals that your wife wrote that were discovered after her death. She talks about, you know, you told her about experiences where you killed innocent people.
I don't believe I did. I mean, we joked around.
Did you tell her?
No, like we talked about like some of the weird stuff that happens overseas, like, but it wasn't about killing innocent people. Like, if anything I've experienced is not killing innocent people.
And she writes, I want a temporary restraining order to separate my husband from me because I'm afraid of his anger. In the past, he's admitted to committing terrible acts of violence against innocent people as a way to vent feelings of anger. He's admitted to fantasizing about killing me. Did you ever tell her that?
No. I've tried to explain some of the dreams I was having.
Did you ever tell her that you dreamed that you were going to kill her?
No.
Why wouldn't you keep your gun in your safe when she's there?
Because I always carried it on my side. So open
How did she get your gun?
Because I left it there when I left the house because I had a couple drinks.
Well, but that's my point.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't you secure your weapon?
I didn't think about it at that point. I locked my door, left it there. It's just.
Well,
you know,
I mean, here's the thing that I have a problem with that. When we're in the military, what do we always do with our weapons? We're always making sure they're secure, right? Always.
Yes.
Never do we leave a weapon laying around.
No.
Right?
You say that you did not kill Kyra, you had no intention of it. So why, a couple of weeks earlier, were you on a dating site, dating women, and saying that you were a widower? Why would you do that if you didn't kill her or have even plans to do it? So all I ever wanted to know is, what did you do? What happened? Tell me what happened to a point where I can actually at least have a fathomness of what happened, because what I think happened
it's horrible.
Is what happened.
I get you. Melinda, I understand that. That's why I did.
What do you think happened?
I think that many times he had threatened and used that gun as a threatening weapon. And I'll even give you the benefit of the doubt, Christopher. I'll say that you were just putting the gun in her mouth and it accidentally went off.
All right, Chris, you came here and took a lie detector test. And we asked you, before her death, did you know Kyra intended to harm herself? You answered no. Did you shoot Kyra? You answered no. Were you present when Kyra shot herself? You answered no. Did you participate in any way in Kyra being shot? You answered no. The results came back all the same, and they came back that Christopher told the truth. And if you don't take precautions with your handgun and somebody ends up dead because of you did not practice safety with a firearm, then yes, you are partially responsible. At the very least, if I was a policeman, I would have charged him with that. Good luck to you. Get off my stage.
Share my name. It's like I'm tired of going through life and not being able to accomplish nothing because this thing always pops up on my background. Like I can't find housing. I can't I've been living in my car. Some of my siblings don't even talk to me because of man. A man's not gonna take advantage of no woman, man. Period, point blank. And even as a kid, I knew better than that. We were in the park. We kissed on each other. We touched on each other, whatever. But no sexual acts ever even happened. A month later, while I was at school, I was eating a cup of noodle in class, and a security guard came in and told me there was 2 detectives who wanted to talk to me. And me being 12 years old, the only time I've ever seen a detective was on TV. And I went in the office and I talked to those detectives. And once I got into the office, it was like the detectives pretty much wrote my statement for me. And I sat there and agreed with half of the stuff that they were saying because I didn't want to get in trouble. It was my first time ever dealing with the police. Parents weren't there. I didn't have an attorney present. Not even a teacher was present. Not a school security guard. Nobody was present. I went to JDH. I did 3 months in JDH. I was approached by my attorney, my court-appointed attorney, while my parents was in Bakersfield, California, with a plea bargain. And the plea bargain basically told me either I could do time in jail or I could sign the paper and go home. And me being 12 years old, I wanted to go home.
I would think that as a juvenile, 12, once you turn 18, isn't your record kind of sealed?
They seal your record, but the whole registration thing followed me.
But even as a juvenile, I would think that wouldn't follow you as an adult.
So, come find out, last year, I had called my juvenile parole officer on just to see how he was doing or whatever, and he had, I had mentioned registration to him, and he was like, did you get committed, or did you get accused of another crime? I'm like, no. He was like, then what do you mean registration? So then he was like, I gotta call you back. He called me back 5 minutes later, and he said he had an attorney on the phone to cover his own ass or whatever. And so I was like, okay, what is this about? And he was like, Daniel, you were supposed to stop registering 2 years after you got off juvenile parole. And here it is up to this year, and I registered all the way up to this year. I went to prison for failure to register.
I just hope you don't make me look stupid.
I wouldn't make you look stupid. I wouldn't come on national TV and make myself look stupid, so I wouldn't make you look stupid.
People do it all the time, though.
I know. I've seen it.
Yeah. You know, there's just so much wrong about this story. I try to put myself in that position, 12 years old. What am I thinking? Haven't even had his first kiss, and he goes from first kiss to raping a girl? Doesn't sound right. Then the fact that he's in an all-white neighborhood, it's a white girl, it happens all the time. Parents, he's with a black kid, we don't like that. We have to protect her reputation or whatever. It happens. The kid loses his childhood. So you meet him, and I don't know what your first date situation was like, but you go out and he's telling you, by the way, I went to juvenile detention and I was charged with rape.
Yeah, he was honest.
Yeah.
First day, he was just honest.
So you didn't think, man, I better get out of here?
I thought that.
But now that you've been in a relationship for 5 months, what if he did do it? Could you say, hey, he did that when he was 12. That was a long time ago.
I could say that.
Yeah. Daniel came here to take a lie detector test about an occurrence that happened when he was 12 years old where he was charged with rape. And we asked him, did you ever have consensual sex with your classmate? He answered no. Did you ever force yourself on your classmate? He answered no. Did you engage in physical sexual acts against your classmate's will at any time? He answered no. The results came back all the same, and they came back that Daniel told the truth. What are you feeling right now?
I don't know what to feel. It's been so long that I don't know. I don't know if it's real or if it's fake or.
Yeah.
I just wish my mom was here.
Yeah.
I called you, Steve, for help because I watch your show all the time.
Somebody's gonna watch this and say, you know what, she was brave enough to do that, I can do that too.